Halo has long been one of my all-time favorite gaming franchises. I remember clear as day getting the original Halo with the original Xbox on launch day. I think I've told this story before, but I got two games with the OG Xbox at launch. Halo Combat Evolved and Shrek. Of course, as a man of culture, I played Shrek first because, come on, we're talking about one of the best animes of all time. And I didn't know anything about this Halo either, besides that it was going to be a shooty bang bang game. But once I did get around to playing Halo, I was instantly hooked. This persisted through the entirety of Bungie's run on the series. I played all the games to death. Halo 3, in particular, is one of those games I don't even want to know how much time I've spent in. Reach, I still think, is one of, if not the best, FPS campaign of all time. But not long after 343 took over the franchise, I was out. I didn't like the direction they took the series in, felt like they wanted to be more like Call of Duty. The campaigns, I thought, were a mega downgrade in 4 and 5, especially 5. I mean, remember Locke? And I know there are people who did like 4 and 5. And even if you are one of those people, I don't think you can argue that Halo hasn't been the same since 343 took over. I mean, this used to be a premier shooter franchise that had as much hype around it as any other big FPS game, but it hasn't been that way for a long time. And I've hated on 343 publicly throughout this whole time, making fun of the fact that they were handed, again, one of the biggest FPS franchises in the world, and they've pretty much fumbled it. They've actively made this franchise less popular. And once more, I know there's going to be people watching this who are fans of these games, but, I mean, you're really going to try to tell me that Halo's as big now as it was on the 360? And I assumed Halo Infinite was going to be no different, especially when we got that first look at the game and it wasn't very impressive. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the whole Craig debacle. Then there were rumors that the game wasn't going to launch with multiplayer, then rumors that it was going to launch without the campaign. Then the whole thing got delayed for a year. Again, with me already not being impressed with the past Halo games 343 has done, I assumed this was going to be a big dumpster fire. But a couple weeks ago, as part of the Xbox 20th anniversary, during that event, Microsoft dropped the multiplayer for Halo Infinite early. So I figured, since it's free, I'd check it out. I expected to play a couple matches and be done with it. Probably wasn't even going to cover it on my channel. Well, those couple matches were dozens of matches ago now. I was so wrong. I've been completely addicted to this game, and I really haven't been big on any FPS, at least multiplayer. Like, I'm a big fan of the Doom games, but certainly not like the battle mode in those. So I really haven't gotten invested in a FPS multiplayer since Halo 3. And while this does feel like a return to form in some ways, I'm not going to act like they went backwards and that they, did all the old things and threw the stuff they've done away. No, this game, it more so feels like improving on everything, both classic as well as the newer stuff that's been done with Halo over the years. Thankfully, there's none of the loadout stuff. I think those were only in 4. But yeah, this is straight up classic arena style with just the power weapons and tools strewn about the map for you to pick up. Everyone starts with the same guns, and a big part of the strategy is fighting over and timing spawns for the better stuff. That was key for me, not only from a gameplay perspective, but I was worried when they announced the multiplayer was going to be free to play, because to be clear, when I say free, I don't mean free like with Game Pass. The multiplayer for Halo Infinite, if you're not aware, is 100% free. You don't need to be subscribed to anything, Xbox Live, Game Pass, you can just download it on Steam or wherever. So when I heard it was going to be free to play, I worried there was going to be loadout type deals and you'd be unlocking guns through microtransactions, loot boxes, and they'd be trying to get you to spend money to get the guns you want. But there is none of that. In fact, I am shocked at how non-intrusive paid aspects are. Everything is cosmetic, whether it be, customization options for your armor, paint schemes for your weapons, the vehicles and stuff, and the weapon skins and that, they just basically apply to your character when you use those items. It's almost too good to be true. But yeah, gameplay-wise, it's that, again, classic arena style, All of the weapons feel as good as they ever have, better even. The assault rifles, in particular, being the base weapons in quick matches, I always felt like in past Halos, when I'd play modes where you start with the assault rifle, I'd immediately just be like, get me something, anything else, as fast as possible, but they're a blast to shoot in this game. But being reunited with my beloved BR, which stands for Battle Rifle, okay, not Battle Royale, you casuals. I'm sure I've said this in some video before, but the BR, in my opinion, is the best competitive video game gun. Yeah, there might be cooler over-the-top guns and stuff like Doom, but when we're talking PvP, this is the perfect middle ground, in my opinion, between machine gun and sniper rifle. You've got the almost pinpoint precision burst fire. It's so satisfying to get those headshots. Like when you're really feeling yourself and outplay a couple people in a row with it, there's nothing like it. Just like I was saying, it feels better in this game than it ever has before. All the standard maps in the game I think are great. I really like the one that's like a downtown city. The game's gorgeous, by the way, if you couldn't tell by the footage. Running in 4K on my Series X, smooth 60 frames per second. There's a good amount of verticality to the maps. You want to learn the layout so you can get around swiftly. Screwing up the platforming, like trying to jump across a gap or up a ledge and missing, can leave you wide open and getting wrecked. You'll see it happen to people all the time. The big team battle maps as well, I think, are open enough to warrant a bunch of vehicles flying around, but at the same time, they're tight enough that you're constantly seeing action. This is an issue I have with shooters like a Battlefield or pretty much any Battle Royale, that you have these massive maps, and I feel like you can often spend too much time putzing around just looking for a fight, rather than actually engaging other players. And I know that's an aspect people love with stuff like Fortnite, when there's only a couple people left, hiding in bushes and you're waiting for someone to make a mistake. I understand that, but in shooters, I'm more interested in actually shooting stuff. Maybe that's just me. The big team battles in Halo are just what I like in terms of, a lot of people on the field. They're obnoxious and chaotic, just as they should be. I think there's a good amount of vehicle spawns, as well as counter vehicle measures. Guys, I need a gunner. Someone. Come on. All right, let's do this. And the game holds up well in the frame rate department, even with a ton of people all lobbing grenades back and forth, ghosts and warthogs zooming around. And again, with very impressive just visual quality, this is a very demanding game, and it runs smooth as butter. And I'll say a complaint I often see from people towards Halo in terms of the PvP versus stuff like Call of Duty, Battlefield, all those games, is that it's a bit slower, floaty, and many, I think, don't like the amount of damage it takes to kill people. Like, it takes a lot of bullets to put these Spartans down, but I'm actually a huge fan of that because I feel like in most other games where you die in like a couple shots, yeah, it's more realistic, but it's so easy to get wrecked by a bad spawn or just unlucky positioning. And I get, again, that's part of the strategy, but like, if you're not playing at that high competitive level, most people are running around aimlessly, not chatting, not coordinating with their teammates. So I like that in this game, if someone gets the drop on you, spawns behind you, it's not like it's game over. In Halo, when someone else engages you first, you can still come from behind, run away from them, turn a quick corner, drop a grenade. Depending on the weapon, you still may be able to completely turn around and like out-strafe battle them. You're still at a big disadvantage, but it's possible. With the multiplayer, there's really not much I can criticize in terms of what's been made available to us so far. The year-long delay seems like it was very much worth it. This is an extremely polished product already. The one big negative I see a lot of people talking about online right now is cheating. Now, myself, as much as I'd love to blame cheaters every time I lose, and sometimes I do, I can't say I've necessarily run into anyone who's cheating, but with the game particularly being on PC, you gotta worry more about stuff like that. And I see people getting extra mad because there's crossplay, so it's like you could be playing with a controller against somebody who on PC with a keyboard and mouse has already had an advantage, and then it's like, they're seeing you through the walls and shit. So hopefully this is something they can stomp out sooner rather than later, because even when you have a great game like this, if there's rampant cheating, people they're not going to stick with it. Some of the smaller things that I have issue with, firstly, and it's more of a preference thing I guess, is the lack of friendly fire, at least in the unranked modes. I think it takes a lot of the risk out of the game, especially with those like more chaotic fights, and it makes grenades especially OP. I mean, grenades already are a big factor in determining the outcome of gunfights, and without friendly fire, you can see your teammate engaged like far away across the map, and you can just start chucking grenades in that direction without worrying about hurting them. I feel like that's kind of stupid. Maybe they'll change that. Also, a minor nitpick, while I like the monetization in this game, I don't like the execution of the battle pass structure. They're doing some different things with having the battle passes be something you can keep progressing through for a longer period, but even still, I think it's a bit slow. And the way you rank it up in particular, there are these challenges that you have to complete. Some are simple, like play one of this match type, but some are a little too wacky, and I feel like they're incentivizing you to play kind of ridiculous and not focus on winning, like, you know, getting splatter kills with a specific vehicle, killing people with the ball in Oddball. It's like the ball carrier is supposed to be trying to play defensive, stay away, not get hit, but you're going to have jackasses running around trying to get kills with the ball to complete those challenges. I understand you want to have a variety, but I wish they were more focused on just doing things that help your team win the game. So yeah, this multiplayer is fantastic so far. If the campaign drops in a few weeks and ends up being as good, not only is this going to be a strong Game of the Year candidate, but 343 may have made one of the best Halo games to date. Barely even get that out. And this may also be a bit of a perfect storm kind of situation for this franchise in terms of, you know, bringing Halo back more to prominence in the FPS realm. From what I've seen on social media, I'm not alone in thinking Halo Infinite's multiplayer is great so far. I'm also seeing a lot of the big content creators in the shooter realm playing the game, enjoying it, as well as a lot of excitement about the esports potential of this game. That could be because it's the shiny new toy for a lot of people, and maybe that will die off. But at the same time, the most recent Call of Duty Vanguard, as well as Battlefield 2042, I think it's called, are not getting very good receptions from their fan bases. I mean, you add on top of that the fact that Halo Infinite's multiplayer is free, and you could see a lot of people jumping ship from those franchises over to Halo right now. I think that'd be awesome to see. You know, the idea that Halo could be the one kind of shaking up the FPS genre right now, that's crazy. But yeah, I'd love to see Halo get back to being a powerhouse of a franchise. As much as it pains me to do, if 343 keeps the quality content flowing, I'm going to have to keep praising them, and I'm going to have to keep playing this game, unfortunately. Anyway, with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Halo Infinite in the comments. Have you checked out the multiplayer for yourself? What are your thoughts? Do you think this could be the franchise's big return to prominence? As always, I'm the Shy Guy, Johnny Zakari, and thanks for watching.